Hello, and very happy to see you on my channel. This video will give you a piece of breaking news. Insiders accuse Meghan and Harry's biography just smears royal family. The biography of Harry and Meghan contains a string of incendiary claims about how they were shunned by the firm. Dubbed the Gospel according to the Sussexes, Finding Freedom was said to have been written with the couple's blessing and its authors had access to their inner circle. Spanning 24 chapters, the book contains page after page of score-settling and vicious swipes at the royal family, courtiers, and the media. Indignation and rancor are particularly directed towards William and Kate for supposedly cold-shouldering the Sussexes from the start of their relationship. Even the Queen, who did much behind the scenes to ease their journey away from royal life, is rebuked for apparent slights towards the couple. The astonishing book has sparked fresh recriminations over who was to blame over the bitter fallout from Megxit. Others in the royal household have hit back, attacking the biography as a partial account designed to put a gloss on Harry and Meghan's behavior. Courtiers who have read extracts from the book have been quick to insist that the version of events peddled by friends of the Sussexes is false. Here, we summarize what Mail Online collects and outlines some of the most astonishing allegations and examines whether they stand up to scrutiny. That is, the book claims the so-called Old Guard tried to undermine the couple and were concerned that the global interest in and popularity of the Sussexes needed to be reined in. Harry and Meghan believed few inside the palace were looking out for their interests and felt that most courtiers could not be trusted with their sensitive information. They believed that these men in gray suits were stifling their attempts to launch their initiatives, and when they tried to air these frustrations, the conversations didn't lead anywhere. One source said Harry felt that some of the old guard at the palace simply didn't like Meghan and would stop at nothing to make her life difficult. The book concludes that Meghan was totally foreign to this group of advisors, who could sometimes be even more conservative than the institution they guarded. The description of senior palace courtiers as vipers has sparked some amusement in royal circles, conjuring up the image of a group of bikers in leather jackets. One insider said, maybe 30 years ago there would have been an issue, but that's just laughable to suggest now. The source said it was obvious why it would suit the narrative of the book, but insisted the description is just not true. Another insider said, the fact is that Meghan was welcomed with open arms and everyone did their best to offer their help about how to navigate such a tricky public role, advice she would often choose to ignore. They did the best they could in often trying circumstances. The Mail has also spoken to sources who support the claim that Kate was deeply upset. Dismissing the story yesterday, the book described the claims as puzzling and questioned whether someone from the palace could have been behind the tale. It said aides should have set the record straight because it was a ridiculous story that was so false. Some of the children weren't cooperating and there was a lot of going on, the source said. Everyone tried to help where they could, but it's never easy with kids at fittings. There were no tears from anyone, and in the end, the fitting was fine. Kate and Meghan were both a little stressed, but professionals in the room, and there were other people there. Royal biographer Robert Jobson claimed in his book, Charles at 70, that Meghan's wedding preparations were so stressful that Harry became petulant and short-tempered with members of staff. According to royal sources, Meghan disliked the musty odor of St. George Chapel at Windsor Castle and asked for air fresheners to be deployed before her wedding guests arrived. This was said to have horrified Buckingham Palace officials who pointed out that the chapel was a regular place of worship for the Queen and successive monarchs since 1475, and if it was good enough for them, it would be good enough for her. But a passage in Finding Freedom dismisses this notion. The truth, it says, was that discreet bias-scented air diffusers, pictured, for the chapel provided by a diptyque, had been approved by all parties involved. The fuss over the odor was first revealed by the Daily Mail several months after the wedding. Insiders at both Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace confirmed that the request had been made by the Duchess's office for the scented diffusers and that it hadn't gone down well. Those sources stood by their account last night. The couple was dismayed when no photograph of them and their son Archie was displayed during the Queen's Christmas speech last year. Yesterday, sources scoffed at the suggestion that it was the absence of their picture from the Queen's desk that prompted Harry and Meghan's decision to go. Clearly, it feels like Meghan just kept a diary of all the day's goings on so she could settle the scores in one explosive book, as she knew she couldn't respond to the media directly. I think she thought she deserved a daily briefing of her life in the Rose Garden, but since she didn't get that, this is her next best thing. So bitter, so shallow, so ungrateful, so dislikable. Who would ever want to deal with this disgraceful pair of narcissistic parrots? Honestly, their whiny complaining reads like a couple of 13-year-olds. Everyone is mean to me, they are jealous, they didn't help me, it's all everyone else's fault. You could almost forget they are accomplished adults with tremendous privilege. To me, the saddest story is after Harry and Meghan stood up to the Queen at Balmoral and ditched the family for the holidays. In January, Harry is so desperate to discuss their separation package with the Queen, he wants to rent a car and drive to find her. He has lost his way even as he thinks he has found it. Meanwhile, in other news, shock reason behind Beatrice's secret wedding exposed. Just days after Princess Beatrice's wedding, rumors are already flying around that the honeymooning royal and her husband Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi will soon announce they're expecting their first child, and according to royals expert Phil Dampier, Bea can't wait to start a family of her own. Phil says Bea is said to be an excellent stepmother to Edo's son, Christopher, born in 2016 to his ex-fiancée Dara Huang, and I'm sure she'd be a wonderful mother. I've seen some rumors online that Bea is already pregnant. I don't think the wedding was a shotgun one, but you never know. And it's not just Beatrice who has exciting news to celebrate. New Idea hears her sister Princess Eugenie will likely go public with her own happy baby news very soon. It wouldn't surprise me if they both got pregnant at the same time, Phil adds. They would think that's wonderful fun, and their parents would be delighted. Eugenie posted a sweet tribute to her sister, Beatrice, and her new brother-in-law last week on social media. But it was the last part of the message which has royal fans excited that Eugenie could be hinting at their double baby joy when she wrote, "We are going to have so much fun together." As previously reported by New Idea, rumor has it that Bea and Edo are seriously thinking about leaving the UK for good, and with a baby on the way, now could be a perfect time. Bea will have seen that Harry and Meghan are living abroad and bringing up their baby, Archie, away from the spotlight, so why shouldn't she, says Phil. Perhaps a honeymoon in Italy will work as a dress rehearsal for moving there. Beatrice and Edo surprised royal watchers by having a private and much smaller than anticipated wedding at the Royal Chapel of All Saints in the grounds of the family's Royal Lodge estate in Windsor. Just 20 people attended the ceremony, including the Queen and Prince Philip, while the palace confirmed that Prince Andrew walked his daughter down the aisle. Significantly, there were no photos released of this disgraced duke on the day. And speaking exclusively to New Idea, Nigel Cawthorne, author of Prince Andrew, Epstein in the Palace, says a pared-down royal wedding was the perfect way to sidestep the scandal that's still engulfing the prince and which has led to him retiring from public life. I think that Beatrice and Edo would have loved a big wedding. It must have been a great disappointment when the plans had to be cancelled. It was a dilemma for the palace. There can no longer be a public wedding, as it would have created a public relations nightmare. A small secret wedding was the only option that was left, claims the royal biographer. Keeping the data secret and the numbers tiny avoided negative headlines or leaks in the run-up to the wedding. And on the day itself, people would feel sympathy for the couple. Nigel goes on to explain, the palace's decision not to release images of Prince Andrew from the wedding day was most likely a strategic move. It would have been as messy as the situation Andrew is in now, Nigel speculates. It would have made matters 100 times worse. A photograph of Andrew smiling as a proud parent would have been taken as more proof of the prince's intransigence and being out of touch with the rest of the world. It would have been even worse than when he shot himself in the foot with the BBC interview in November, he said. My news today has ended. How do you feel about it? Please let me know in the comment section below and we'll discuss them together. Remember to like and share my video for anyone you think also loved it like you. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to get more news about the royal family members. Now, thank you for watching, goodbye, and see you in the next video.